Back in March, I said 2026 was already shaping up to be one of the biggest years dinosaur science has seen in quite some time. Well, somehow it keeps getting better. In just the last few months, scientists may have uncovered evidence for a giant Cretaceous Kraken, a bizarre marine predator may have been given perhaps one of the greatest scientific names ever, and one of the most famous dinosaurs on Earth may not actually be a distinct species at all. So today, we're taking another look at the biggest paleontology stories over the last few months. Let's dive in. Let's start with what is, in my opinion, the most fascinating paleontological discovery of the year. A giant cephalopod named Nanaimo-toothus hagati, nicknamed the Cretaceous Kraken. Now, before anyone gets too excited, this wasn't literally an enormous octopus wrapping itself around mosasaurs. This isn't even technically a new species. Researchers re-examined a large trove of fossilised jaws collected over the years and realised that this animal was a lot bigger and a lot more distinct than anyone had given it credit for. In the process, they reclassified it as a giant finned octopus belonging to the Suchomimus octopus group, related to today's Dumbo octopus, rather than the vampire squid relative it was once thought to be. Based on the remains, this animal may have reached lengths approaching 19 metres, making it potentially the largest cephalopod ever discovered. If those estimates prove accurate, this wasn't just another marine invertebrate. It would have been one of the largest predators in late Cretaceous oceans, full stop. Even more remarkable is what it tells us about ancient cephalopods. Most giant soft-bodied animals simply disappear from the fossil record because it is so vanishingly rare that their bodies fossilise in the first place. Discoveries like this remind us that prehistoric oceans were probably even stranger than we imagine. And if you want the full story behind the Cretaceous Kraken, including how scientists estimated its size and why it may have hunted alongside giant marine reptiles like mosasaurs, I've already made a full video covering this story in depth. I'll link it at the top and I'll link it in the description. If there ever was a scientific name guaranteed to grab attention, it's this one, Tylosaurus Rex. Despite the name, it's not a dinosaur at all. It's an enormous new species of mosasaur, one of the apex marine predators of the late Cretaceous. The name immediately caught people's attention because, let's be honest, calling anything T.rex is always going to invite comparisons with Tyrannosaurus. But beyond the name, the discovery itself is genuinely fascinating. It adds another giant predator to the already crowded seas of the late Cretaceous, showing just how diverse these marine ecosystems really were. I've already covered this animal in far greater detail on the channel, so if you want the full breakdown, I'll leave the link above and in the description again. The next story has caused quite a stir. Suchomimus has been one of the best known spinosaurs for decades. It has appeared in documentaries, books, toys, video games and more. But new research suggests that it may not actually represent a distinct genus after all. Instead, researchers argue that Suchomimus could be another species of the already named African spinosaur Cretaceous. Now, to be absolutely clear, this is not settled science and Suchomimus still remains valid today. Taxonomy is often messy and these debates can take years to resolve. But if the proposal is one day accepted, one of the most recognisable names in paleontology could disappear entirely. It's exactly the sort of story that reminds us that science is not static. Even some of the most famous dinosaurs remain open to revision. And yes, I have made a full video about this one too. Not every headline this year has been controversial. Some have simply introduced us to incredible new dinosaurs. Researchers recently described Uragosaurus calasinensis, a giant, long-necked sauropod from Thailand. Although much of the animal remains unknown, the fossil helps us fill an important gap in our understanding of Asian Jurassic ecosystems. It's another reminder that some of the world's biggest discoveries are now coming from places that historically received far less attention than North America or Europe. Every year, the global picture of dinosaur evolution becomes a little more complete. Of course, no Roundup would be complete without Tyrannosaurus Rex. New research this year has provided fresh insights into what T.rex hatchlings may have looked like and how they used to live. Rather than emerging as tiny versions of the adults, evidence continues to suggest they occupied entirely different ecological roles. Young tyrannosaurs were lighter, faster, and likely hunted very different prey to the gigantic adults they'd eventually become. In a way, a single species of Tyrannosaurus may have functioned almost like several different predators throughout its lifetime. It's one of the many reasons Tyrannosaurs were so successful. If you would like to dive deep into the Tyrannosaur family, then I'll link a video in the description. Before we finish, here are a few discoveries worth keeping an eye on. Researchers continue to refine the family tree of spinosaurs, with new anatomical work helping to clarify how these unusual predators adapt to life around rivers and lakes. New AI tools are making it easier than ever to identify fossil tracks and reconstruct ancient ecosystems. I will have a video on this topic very soon, so keep an eye out for that. Several additional dinosaur species have also been described over the last few months, continuing what has already been an exceptionally productive year for paleontology. And perhaps most excitingly of all, we're only just over halfway through the year, so there's plenty more discoveries to come, I have no doubt. So those are some of the biggest paleontology stories of the last few months. I have no doubt missed a few, so let me know in the comments which ones of your favourite I've missed. From the giant Cretaceous Kraken to the possible downfall of Suchomimus and yet another giant predator stalking ancient seas, 2026 keeps delivering discovery after discovery. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if by the end of the year this turns out to be one of the most memorable years in recent paleontology. If you enjoyed this roundup and want it to become a regular series, be sure to let me know by leaving a like and telling me your favourite discovery down in the comments. As always, if you'd like to dive deeper into many of these stories, I've already covered several of them in full videos here on the channel, so be sure to check those out, links available in the description and on the channel. But until next time, stay curious.